All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Mike and Bros with you. What's going on, everybody? This is Queens of the Stone Age, 3s and 7s. Familiar?
Oh, of course. It's my ringtone.
Is this a hockey song? Like if they score a goal, do you hear this?
I wouldn't be surprised. I never personally have heard it, but it sounds right up that alley.
You've never heard Queens of the Stone Age at all?
No.
Damn.
Is this grunge?
It's a little post-grunge.
Post-grunge.
Yeah. Jason Fitz, he's the host of First Take, Your Take, ESPN Radio. I like to try to come up with something that's like, it wasn't like a big radio song, when we have Fitz on. Now, last time he was on, we told him about Swan. I'm wondering if he went and found it and gave it a listen. We'll ask him now here on the Sports Bash Live on the Boardwalk on the hotline. Fitz, what's happening?
Of course, I give all the suggestions to listen. Actually, it was really good. I got to give you credit. Like, I was kind of surprised. Like, it's a reminder that no matter how much music we listen to, there's holes in all of our game. So yeah, I'm all in.
So
I love the suggestions. Keep them coming.
You went Swan. This was Queens of the Stone Age, though, right? I can't believe Broads doesn't know Queens.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just making
sure.
Sure.
One of the cooler lead singer voices of the era, for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, who's he married to? Somebody, man, I'll have to think. I'll try to remember. He's married to somebody pretty famous. All right, Jason Fitz. Last time we kept worrying about baseball. We finally have it. We were back and forth. Like, do we care? Do we not care? Now that it's really back, does it push your pile?
Yeah. I mean, I'm so desperate for sports at this point. I think I'd take wiffle ball and I'd still be happy. So, I got to admit that. Am I super stoked to become a baseball guy? No. Like it feels everything about it. It's like it's enough. The plan right now won't keep diehards invested, and I don't think it's really going to accomplish what it wants in getting the fringe fan in. I think a lot of people are a little disenfranchised by everything that's happened. So there's a lot of ground to be made up from baseball. I really think what the proof is going to be in how creative they make their broadcasts out of the gate. Because we'll watch one or two games because we're desperate at this point. Hell, I'm watching the cornhole championships, right? So I'll watch a couple of games. But if they want to keep me in and draw me in and make me a baseball fan for life, the type of person that's going to just gravitate to it is my big thing. I think they're going to have to be creative in the broadcast because I still believe that the NBA is going to give us creative broadcasts. So it's going to be up to Major League Baseball to compete with that.
That's a great point, is how it's going to be presented as a television product. But the fact that it's like a 60 game and every game matters feel like, like, I don't know. I feel like the 60 game thing might actually work in their favor, even though they would never consider doing it.
Yeah, it does work in their favor. In a little sense, I joked after we saw the Long Hot Summer documentary, and Long Gone Summer, I should say. And we talked about the fact that, like, where are they going to get two roided up monsters to hit a bunch of home runs to distract us? They're not going to find that. But 60 games is going to be so much chaos that you're right. The feeling that every game matters a little bit more is something that I think makes a Tuesday game more meaningful than it would be in pop culture conversation, which is important for the sport right now.
How do you feel about the National League DH and the fact that you're going to start extra inning games with a man on second base?
Oh, it's weird, right? Like, that's just it's an extra inning, so we're just going to go to this. To me feels like such a gimmick. I mean, the DH thing, I'm okay with that. Like that doesn't bother me one way or the other. But the second baseman in extra innings, it just feels like that's the NFL equivalent would be. You know what? We got to overtime, so we're going to let the kickers decide this thing by going to different spots and doing trick shots. Like it feels strange to me. I don't love anything about it. Like, I didn't realize we had such an issue with long baseball games that we needed to do something as gimmicky as that. So I'm kind of out on that. But the DH part, it doesn't bother me.
Now, okay, so did you grow up as a baseball fan? Like, was that like, I played Little League and I watched baseball, was that something? Or were you more of casual baseball fan? Because I hate the DH.
Right. Well, and because you are a diehard. I'm not. No, I was a fat kid that played the violin growing up. Come on now. There's no Little League for me. Let's go. No, I think, I always have to be transparent about, like, for me, baseball was a later in life find when it was really the experience of getting to go to ballparks. I mean, that was the game changer for me when you actually go see it live. And it's funny because I would say the same thing. Although I grew up a big hockey fan as a kid, I think the first time I went to an actual arena and watched a hockey game, I was like, God, it's so different. that's where I always was with baseball. So for me, I don't have a rooting. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. I don't have a team that makes my blood boil. I just want to see entertaining product. That's the biggest thing for me. I want to see chaos, and I want to see everybody in it, and I want to see meaningful baseball, because when you get to the playoffs and you feel that intensity of every single pitch, that's like a drug, right? I want to find a way to emulate that drug in August and not just have it be about how many hot dogs I can shove down and how many beers is an appropriate number in a stadium. But that's been my baseball in the past.
Jason Fitz, host of First Take Your Take here on the Sports Bash. I always say the DH is for baseball fans who really aren't baseball fans. They don't really like baseball. They just, it's like a gimmicky, much like the runner on second base. It's kind of gimmicky. But that being said, are you legitimately concerned, yes, we have baseball, about the ability of baseball and other sports to restart?
Yes, and I'm particularly concerned about it in baseball because I'm concerned about the level of give a damn the players are going to have. There's just a difference in the way we have the Major League Baseball conversation than the way we have the NBA conversation, because as the NBA players have alluded to, they feel like the league has their best interest, the league trusts them. We've heard all of these conversations. So I believe the NBA players, while they're all going to make a personal decision on what they're comfortable with, are coming at it saying, all right, what am I really comfortable with, and what can we do to get this done? I don't feel like that's been the mindset over Major League Baseball, over obviously through a very contentious and very vocal public negotiation. So the first time somebody wakes up and they have a hangnail, are they just going to be like, I'm out today? I'm not on this. I wonder how much of what we're going to see from baseball players this year is going to be some level of protecting themselves for bigger money and a longer season in the future, given how contentious the debates, the negotiations have been. So I'm concerned that Major League Baseball players are going to be quick to want to look for the white flag at the feet. And also, it should be noted, we're just acting like COVID-19. I mean, we're at one test shut down all the sports world, and now we're seeing 30 LSU players, and it's like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. We're fine. So I think COVID-19 is a bigger conversation piece. It should be than it is.
When it comes to the broadcast, when there's no fans, do you think because it is the sport of baseball, it's slow paced and it's not it's not the same as like a football atmosphere or a basketball atmosphere? Do you think that they can get away with it more so than other sports just because of the nature of the game?
If they mic players up and if they keep the conversation going, yes. I think that's the real opportunity. At ESPN digitally, we've done a lot of shows that are essentially watch parties, right? Like where everybody's hanging out on the couch and we're watching a college football game. And it's amazing how many people in pop culture tune into these things just to watch a game while you're watching a game, to hear how different people watch it and how they absorb it. If Major League Baseball can find a fun way to do things like that, then they have an opportunity. If they can mic up the players so that we get more personality, they have an opportunity. Each sport's got to be really true to who they are. Like the NBA, I still think, has a proposal that they should be considering of different DJs that come in and play music from different cities to give different atmosphere for each team. And I think that could be a really cool way to do it and hype the players up and hype the viewers up. But for baseball, I think they've got to embrace the pace of it and really come in and say, this is our chance to show personality, have a little fun, kick back, and really make this a fun, casual setting. If they can nail the broadcast on it, it's going to make it much younger in how it's consumed, which is key for every sport right now.
Now, Jason Fitz, I know you made your roots down in SEC country. There was this that just came out, by the way. The first 6 to 8 rows in every NFL stadium will be off limits to fans this year and covered with a tarp that will have sponsored logos that can be seen on TV. So this sounds like the first admittance by the NFL of we're not going to be able to have full stadiums. So 6 to 8 rows will be covered. But I guess I want to morph SEC world in is, do they think they're going to have college football up and ready to go in the biggest, most fanatical college football area in the country?
I think so. And I think they're going to do it, safety be damned. Like, should they? No. Will they? Yes. But there's too much money at stake. And, we're talking about the money into the cities. We're talking about the money into the programs. We're talking about the money in college football. I think that there's a real scenario here that's going to play out in college football where you're going to have 25 or 30 schools that understand that, frankly, the economic loss is too much if they don't have it. So they're just going to put students at risk and have football anyway. And then we're going to be looking at this weird situation where, for example, the Big Ten is playing. Some of the schools are playing in the Big Ten. The SEC is playing, but the Pac-12 sits the whole thing out. I could genuinely see that happening. this fall, and then we're going to have to figure out how we really want to qualify whoever the champion is. But I think it's less about the trophy and more about these suitcases of cash that come in from having these games.
We'll continue to keep an eye on it as we get closer. 1 month away from hopefully opening day. Jason Fitz, he's the host of First Take Your Take on ESPN Radio at Jason Fitz, and he joins us weekly here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Fitz, take care, man.
You guys have a great week. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. He, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline.